to buy cooking oil. What triggered this crisis? Sri Lanka's economy is suffocating under the burden of Chinese debt. It's bleeding Colombo's coffers. Here's a report.
India and Sri Lanka to agreed to the four-pronged approach to discuss initiatives on food and energy security to help mitigate Sri Lanka economic crisis. Early this year, Sri Lanka declared an economic emergency amid the rising the crude products price, a depreciating currency, and rapidly displaced the forex reserves. Four pillars initiatives comprise lines of credit for food, medicines, and fuel purchase granted by the India. Lines of credit is a credit facility extended by a bank or any other financial institution to a government business or and the individual customer that enables the customer to draw the maximum loan amount. Currency swap, a currency swap agreement to deal with Sri Lanka's balance of a payment issue. The word swap means exchange. A currency swap between the two countries is an agreement to or contract the exchange currency with the pandemic terms and conditions. Modernization project. An early modernization project of the Srilanka oil farms that India has been the purchasing of several years. The trigonal herbal, one of the deepest natural herbs in the world, was developed by British during the World War II. In particular, the object of developed oil infrastructure in the drink complaint have been the hanging since 2017. India investment. A Sri Lankan community of facility India invested in a various of a sector. Recently issued and in India and Sri Lanka relation. Killing of a fisherman. Killing of Indian fisherman by the Sri Lanka Navy is a lingering issue between the two nations. In 2019-20, a total of 28 Indian fishermen were arrested and a total 53 Indian boats were confused by the Sri Lankan authorities. East Coast Terminal Project. This year 2021, Sri Lanka cancelled on MOU signed with the India and Japan for the East Coast Terminal Project. India protested the cancellation through it later agreed to the West Coast Terminal being developed by the Adani Group. Influences of China. China rapidly growing economic footprint and politically clothed as a coral clary in Sri Lanka is streaming India-Sri Lanka relation. China is already the largest investor in Sri Lanka according to the 423% of the total for FDI during the 2010 to 2019 as assigned by 10.4 from India. China is also one of the largest exploration destination for Sri Lankan goods and holds over the 10%. It is the external debate. 13th Amendment of the Sri Lanka Constitution. It is the envisages development of a necessary power to the Provincial Council to address the just demand of the Tamil Nadu for the equality, justice, peace and respect within the Sri Lanka. India-Sri Lanka relation. That is the background. The background is the India-Sri Lanka relation is more than the 2050 years old and both the sides have built upon the legacy and indigenous culture, religion and influencing the intercourse. Support against the terrorism. During the course of the civil war, India supported the right of the government Sri Lanka to act against terrorist forces. Support for the rehabilitation. The Indian Housing Project is a government of India's flashing project to do development assigns to Sri Lanka. It is a manual community to use the build around 50,000 houses for those affected by the civil war as well as for the estate workers in the planet areas. Assisted during COVID-19. The RBI has signed by an extended USD 400 million currency swap facility to Sri Lanka to the post foreign reserve and ensure financial stability for the country, which was badly hit by COVID-19 pandemic. Recently, India has been supplied COVID-19 vaccination to Sri Lanka. Joint exercise. India and Sri Lanka conducted by the joint military, that is the Mitra Shakti and the naval exercise Linux. Participation in a grouping. Sri Lanka is also a member of a grouping like the BIMSTEC, Bay of Bengal innovated for the multi-sector technology and economic cooperation yani BIMSTEC and SARC, in which the India plays a leading role. Way forward. Of strengthening the trust difficult exercise between India and Sri Lanka, yet neither Sri Lanka or India can afford to have the strained ties. However, as so much the larger country the owns is India to carry Sri Lanka along. India needs to the extreme patience and the avoiding reaction to make the pink please and engage the Sri Lanka even more regularly and closely, especially at the highest levels. There is a need up to set up our people-centered development activities, while supposedly staying the clear of any interference of a Colombo domestic affair. Neutralitating the netherboard first policy with Sri Lanka is important for India to preserve its strategic interest in the Indian Ocean region.